Alright, well, hey guys, thanks for clicking on the video. This is a pretty awesome tutorial that I put together, a method that I've done to make transitions for OBS using completely free and open source software. So obviously I'm using OBS, and I'm going to be using Shotcut as well to edit together the videos and export it, and GIMP to make the graphics for the transitions. So I got this idea from Gaming Careers, their 100 tips video to improve your stream. One of the tips was adding a transition for OBS. I went looking after that for some videos on YouTube, how to put together a transition, basically just how to do it. I was kind of bummed when I noticed that everybody out there was using After Effects, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so I can use it and I have After Effects, but what about all the people out there that don't want After Effects? So what do we do? You know, I'm gonna figure it out. Use something that's not Adobe, find something open source, something free, and get the job done the same way, because I mean, OBS is open source, OBS is free. Why not just continue along that path, right? I eventually figured out how to create some custom stinger animations for OBS using Shotcut and GIMP. Examples of the transitions that I put together so far. This is the one that the tutorial is basically going to be going through. So this is a basic transition. Oh, hey there, cool. And I've also got the 60s hero transition, which is kind of like a Batman thing. That's pretty cool. I've also got a transition that I've made for when I'm playing Nintendo Switch games on my stream. So we've got that little snap click switch doodly-doo. And I've also got this one for when I'm playing PlayStation, but I have that set up on my PC capture right now. Alright, so I just want to say big thanks to the Shotcut community forums. Without them, I would never have figured out how to make a proper video with transparency in Shotcut, and that's what we need to do to make a transition for OBS, is make sure that we can export a video that has transparent layer or opacity or alpha. The method is a little bit janky, it's kind of hacky. That's a bit of a bodge, but it definitely works. When it comes to being a free option, it's completely acceptable. We can make some pretty impactful transitions for any broadcast, Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, wherever you're streaming. If you're using OBS, this will definitely work. I can't say for certain with any other broadcasting software or applications, but definitely with OBS, this tutorial will work. So we're going to be going through about 7 stages to complete one of the transitions. So first, we are going to use GIMP to create a group of images we're going to animate in Shotcut. So we're going to start with a canvas that's the same size as our stream canvas in OBS, and then put on different layers, cut it up, and then we're going to use that in Shotcut to put together the transition. I'm going to import those images second into Shotcut, and then we're going to animate each one of those images with filters and keyframes to achieve the desired look that we want for our transition. Third, we're going to save and export our Shotcut project once we've got it looking how we want it. Then we're going to export it to webm9 with alpha channel, and we'll go through that in the tutorial as it comes up. Fourth step, we have to close and reopen Shotcut to a new project. I've had issues where if I export a video and then I try and open it up in the same instance of Shotcut in a new project, it'll just crash. Your mileage may vary, but I found the best way to do it is just close it, open up a new instance of Shotcut, and then import the video that was just exported. Once we have it imported, our webm that we've made, we want to apply a Chroma Key filter, a simple one, on the video clip itself on the track, and you'll see that in the tutorial section of the video. So step number 5, we want to export our new project also as a webm, and make sure that you have your Chroma Key on the clip. You want to have, the webm9 with alpha. That's how we're exporting it. 6, we are going to add a custom stinger transition to our OBS application, whichever profile scenes you've got set up, however you want to do it. And then we are going to change through the scenes to confirm that the transition is actually working and that the transparent layer is actually there and that you can see through it as the transition plays. The best part about this tutorial, obviously, I think, is that all of the software, they work on any platform. So Windows, which is what I'm going to be doing it on, Windows 10, but it also works on Mac and Linux. They may look a little bit different, but for the most part, functionality wise, they'll be pretty much the same. Before we start with making our transition, we're going to need some programs. Program number one, as you can see over here, is Shotcut, and that's our video editing software, and that's what we're going to be using to cut together and animate the transition, the graphics that we make with GIMP, the GNU image manipulation program. Don't quote me on that. I don't want to say it's like Photoshop, but it's kind of like Photoshop. Pretty good for image manipulation, somewhat for graphics, but yeah, that's what we're going to be using. And finally, of course, you probably already have this one, that's why you're here. We're going to be using OBS, and you can get that from the link over there. And yeah, so grab those programs, and once you've got them downloaded and installed the way that you like, we can hop on in to the tutorial. Alright, so first we're going to get into GIMP here, and we're going to choose the size that's the same as our canvas in OBS. In my case, it's 720p, so 720 by 1280. Then we're going to go in and set some guides by percent, horizontal guide at 30%, and then another one at 70%. And then we're going to add one more guide, and this one is going to be vertical by percent, and we're going to add it at 66%. Alright, once we've done that, we're going to use Control A, and we're going to select all. First we're going to save. Make sure to save often. Then we're going to select the green color. It's OOEF, those are zeros. And then the bucket tool to fill in our background with that green color. That's the default color for Shotcut's Chroma Key filter. Now we're going to add a new layer for our base color. And we're going to keep everything selected, and I'm going to use purple as my base color. Make sure that I've got the base color layer selected, and then fill it in with that purple. I'm going to make a new gradient layer, and I'm going to use the gradient tool. And I've already got the rounded edge selected. I like that one, so I'm going to use that. Pull down from the top, make sure I have the gradient layer selected. Alright, make it look even and straight. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to also do an opacity on this. I'm going to drop it to 27 opacity, so it's more purple than anything else. It looks pretty good. And now the next step is we're going to select out the bars. But first we have to group these two layers together, the gradient and the base color. And once we've got them in a group, we're going to duplicate that group. And then we're going to merge that layer group so it's all one layer. And then we can use that to select out the different bars for our transition. Now we're going to use the select tool, and we're going to select out the top bar first and just pull it up to snap to our guide. Control X to cut it, Control V to paste it in, and then click the little green paper paste there, rename it to the top bar, and we'll go on to the bottom. Make sure you've got the base color, the base copy image that you've made there, or the layer rather. Cut it, paste it, click the green button, rename it to bottom bar, and once we've done that, we will select the base layer again, and with the select tool we'll select that area in the middle bar on the left. Then we're going to cut it and paste it back in. Click the green button, name it to mid left bar, and then we've got just the middle right bar left over in that layer, so we're going to name it that to mid right bar. And now we're ready to start saving each one of these layers as their own image. Make sure to save your .xcf as well regularly. I'm going to quickly add my logo to this one. Just drag and drop it in and then use the move tool to place it. Looks pretty good. Alright, now we can get to the process of saving each one of these layers as their own image and exporting them out. So make everything invisible but the background, then File, Export As, and I named it green-bg, and I'm gonna export it. I've already done it, so I'm gonna have to replace each of them. You'll only have to hit export, make sure that they're exporting as .png, and you can use the names from the layers. Just copy them and then paste them in the export dialog box to name each one of your images so you know exactly what they are when we import them into Shotcut later. So just a few more left to go. Got my bottom bar. Highlight and copy, export as, paste it in, export, export, and just the top bar left now. Export, paste in the name, export one more time. Great, now we are ready to hop over to Shotcut. So I've got my folder here with all of the files in it, including the XCF, and I'm going to just drag them into the recent jobs panel in Shotcut. I'm going to double click on the green background, and I'm also going to add video tracks. You can use Control-I, the keyboard shortcut, to add them, adding 5, one for each image that we're using. Alright, and we're going to make the default duration 4 seconds. Click Set Default. Mine was already set, so I didn't have to do that. Then drag in the source of the green background to V1. Then we're going to go from bottom to top, right to left on the video tracks. So the bottom bar is going to go in V2. And then your middle right bar is going to go into V3. Just drag and drop each source after double clicking them from your recent panel. And then V4 is going to get our middle left bar, and V5 will get the top bar. So save your project, make sure it's all good, and then we're going to start animating using the size and position filter from the video filters on the filters tab. Make sure to click the clip itself on the video track. So this is bottom bar on V2, and then make sure your position is at the very beginning, so 0, 0, and then we're going to change the vertical position of the bottom bar, and that's the right box here. First we want to hit the keyframe, the little stopwatch icon, to add a keyframe. Then we're going to jump ahead with our keyframe added at 0. To frame 9 and change that frame or that position to 10. We will go to frame 18 in the monitor, put that in, hit enter, and then we're going to change the vertical position of the bottom bar to 100 on this frame. Looks good. And now we're going to change the frame to frame 27. And we're going to change the vertical position to 250, and that will bring our bar completely out of frame, and we'll only see the green background. Alright, so we're going to copy this filter that we've just done, and then we're going to go to the timeline and go up to video track 5, which is our top bar, and we're going to paste the filter on. And now what we're going to do is reverse this animation using the frames we've already done by adding a minus to each one of the values. So minus 250 on frame 27, and then frame 18 is going to be minus 100. Frame 9 is going to be minus 10. And we can leave frame 0 as it's still 0. And now both of them are going to just slide out of frame. Watch that. Great. Looks good. So we're going to now copy that filter. Oh, not that one. This one. Great. And we're going to paste the filter onto our middle left bar. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go on each frame. So starting frame 9, and we're going to take the value from the vertical position and place it into the horizontal position. Just swap the values basically, and that'll make it move horizontally instead of vertically. So we go to frame 18, and we're going to take that minus 100 and put it over into the left side. Great. Now frame 27. And there we go, frame 27. Cut that out. Paste it on the other side. No problems. There, 250. Or actually, no, we're going to have to make it a little bit bigger because this is much wider. So let's figure that out. 845 looks good. Great. And now we're going to copy that filter as well. And we're going to paste it onto the middle right bar. And we're going to change this value to be a positive value and also a little bit smaller. So it doesn't go completely outside of the screen since it is a not as wide image. So I think 430, 440, let's go with 440. Great. And now we can go to frame 18. And now that we're on frame 18, we'll make this a positive value, so it's 100 instead of minus 100. Then go to frame 9. And we'll make this positive 10 instead of negative 10. And there we go. That's all of our bars animated, sliding out as they should be. So on the middle right bar, I'm going to move my keyframes back just a little bit so the animation's a bit slower and the logo stays on the transition just that little bit longer. So I'm moving them back each 3 frames. So from 18 to 21 and 27 to 30, or which would be 1 second as well. And now let's take a look. Great, that looks great. So we're also going to add one last filter now on the middle left bar. And it's going to be a text filter, which you can find under video filters. And just keep scrolling, they're all in alphabetical order. There's text, great. So we're going to swap this out, the time code, which is the default, and I'm going to put in my channel name, Chillbro Baggins. There we go, great. You can put in whatever you want here, your channel name, a message, anything. I changed the font to Bangers, which I got from Google Fonts. And I'm going to make it not the full width of the video. I'm going to make it about half the width. And I'm also going to vertically align it, or vertical fit it to the middle. And then I'm going to move it over to the right a little bit. And this is all on frame 0 while we're doing this. Okay, and then I'm going to hit the keyframe after I nudge it just a little bit more. And so that'll be our starting position for the text. Then we're going to go to frame 9. So we're going to subtract 10 from frame 9. So we'll be at 120. Then we'll go to frame 18. And we're going to subtract 100 from that value. And I'm going to do some quick maths here. Shouldn't be that hard. Not as hard as I'm making it seem. And 20, that's right. We'll take away 100, perfect. And then frame 27. We're going to get there eventually. Once we get there, frame 27, here we go. We are going to take the width and make that the negative amount. So negative 640, and it'll be completely off the screen. And we'll go to our timeline, bring it back, and see how it looks. Awesome. Now we can save that, and we can start exporting. And that looks great. So save it, always save regularly. And I'm going to name mine transition sample. You can name yours whatever you want. It's good to save it all in a project folder somewhere, so you remember later on where all of the files for it are. Now we're going to go to export, and from stock presets you want alpha, webm VP9 with alpha channel. Click on the advanced button and codec tab. You want your rate control to be set to the quality based VBR, that's variable bit rate. And I'm going to disable the audio because I haven't got any audio on this transition. Everything else looks good, so I'm going to click on export and save it as transition sample.webm, and I'm going to save it in my project folder. And it should take about 20 seconds, maybe a little bit less. This process could take a little bit longer or a little bit less on your machine. Really just depends on the machine that you have, how fast it is at rendering video. Great, so I'm also going to remove the green, but in the meantime, take a look at the transition. It's pretty cool. There we go. That's how it looks just playing in VLC. So I've got the green now taken out, deleted from that track, and it's just going to be black because for some reason I haven't been able to get the green to work as a chroma key. But that's fine. I've got the black to work, and that should work for you if all else fails. I'm going to export it again, webm VP9 with alpha channel, and save it over the transition sample that I had from before with the green background. Should take about another 20 seconds. And then once that's done, we'll pull it up in VLC. And then we're going to have to close Shotcut and open it back up. And then take this transition that I'm showing you right now, the webm file, and drag it into our recent jobs panel. And then it'll show up in our source monitor. And then we'll want to drag it from the source monitor once we've dragged and dropped it into the recent jobs panel. There we go. And it'll be in our source monitor once I get rid of this window in front of here. There we go. And it's also pretty long, so I'm going to mark an out point for this. Make it shorter. Only take what's absolutely necessary. There we go. That's probably a good out point. Give us a little bit of room for the animation to completely finish. And then drag it onto the timeline. Now we're going to go to the Filters tab. After we click on the clip on the timeline itself, add a new filter, Video Filter, Chroma Key Simple, If you've got the green, try that, leave it as the default. And I'm going to go with black because I know that works for me. And you can try that out too if the green doesn't work. Then we want to export webm VP9 advanced alpha channel codec tab. Make sure you've got your quality controlled VBR set. And I'm going to export this one as transition sample 2. And this one should be fully transparent where the black is. And once it's done, oh, that was way quicker than the other ones, great. We'll load it up in OBS here. You plus under the scene transitions, add a new stinger and name it whatever you want. So I'm going to name mine custom transition, okay. And then for the video file, we browse to the webm file that we just exported with the Chroma Key filter. That's in my transition sample file folder. And we're going to set the transition time to frame, and I'm setting it to frame 4. If you've been following this, you should probably also set it to 4, but you can change it up and down as you see fit. And there we go. That's a pretty sharp looking transition. I didn't know that the texture was going to be transparent as well, but that's great. So that's how you put together a transition for OBS using Shotcut and GIMP. All free, all completely open source software. Really great stuff. Have fun with it. Try different animations. Once you follow the tutorial, get wild with it, see what you can do. I haven't seen really anybody doing this specific use case yet, so we're really just scratching the surface on what's possible using these tools to put together really cool transitions for OBS. If you've got any questions, boom, down in the comments below. I will definitely do my best to answer them as quick as possible. I'm also going to work to put up a GitHub with simple project files of what we've gone through here, so you can take a look and see if you're having any issues like, oh hey, this is in the sample project and this is what's in mine. Compare the two, kind of figure out what's going on and how you can tweak yours to get the results that you want. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Also subscribe. I will be trying to put out some more tutorials on OBS and other open source stuff using more Shotcut. Shotcut is one of my main video editors, basically all that I use now. There could be more out there though, in terms of content for people to be learning. There's a lot of good stuff in the forums, like I said at the beginning of the video, but yeah, there could be lots more. So thanks again for watching, and I really hope that you're able to put together a really cool transition for your stream. Once again, if you've got any questions, let me know. Thumbs up, subscribe, do a dance, take it easy. Thanks for watching.